Hi everyone. On the Oz Christmas Lighting forum chat room the other day, we were talking about joining wires, and I put forward that for some situations there's a slightly easier way to do it using less heat shrink than you would otherwise use. Most people would just sort of cut these wires at equal length, tin them, put sleeves of heat shrink over each individual one there first, solder them on, and then slide those pieces of heat shrink over to insulate them individually, and then they'd also have the overall insulation around the whole lot. But a lot of times you don't need to go to that bother, and especially when you've got lots of wires, like if you've got a 6-core cable or more. So I've done this with up to like 18 core cables. It gets a little bit tricky, but you can do 6-core quite easily with this method. It can offer you a bit of a time saver and make the connection joint a little bit slimmer. So as usual, don't forget to put the piece of heat shrink on first. Now this is just one piece of cable, just as an example. Normally this would be 2 separate pieces of cable, obviously. Now I've already cut these wires to unequal lengths. Notice the brown is shorter on this one, longer on this one, and vice versa for the blue, longer and shorter. So what's going to happen is this is going to form an offset sort of joint there, or set of joints. So those are going to line up like that. So there's no way that those can touch each other. Once it's all shrunk down, that'll all be fine. So obviously I cut those, trimmed them. You don't need to make those ends very long at all. Just a couple of millimetres, 2 or 3 millimetres at the most. You don't need a lot of overlap. That's the biggest problem people have when they're making cables, is they strip far too much insulation off. So I'll join the first one in now. Bit tricky keeping this on camera while I'm doing it. Now, some people might want to use a set of those helping hands, or whatever you call them, those little alligator clip units. So there's, I've done the first, I've re-soldered that, melted that joint there, and I'll do the other one there now. Hopefully I'm staying in shot. So just remelt those pre-tinned ones. They form a nice join there. Now see, that's formed a nice strong connection, and there's about 5 or 6 mil between those connections, and that's fine for low voltage. This is mains type coloured cables there, but I wouldn't recommend doing this for actual mains usage, but for low voltage it's fine. And then what you do is you get some silicone, squeeze that along in there, sort of smear it along there, slide your heat shrink over, and go so it's roughly halfway in between. You can feel that through the heat shrink, and then use your heat gun, go there and shrink it down, and you've got a nice slim connection that's going to have no problems strength wise or electrical wise, and it's got the silicone inside that's hidden in there that's sort of bulking out that a bit and seals up around this area too. So that's all you really need to do. It's a nice simple way of doing it, and you can do this with more wires. You can do it with 4-way or 6-way or whatever way cables you've got, 3-way pigtails and things like that. All you got to do is stagger the joints, just pick your colours, just start at 1 on one side, cut it short, then 10 mil longer, 10 mil longer, 10 mil longer, whatever, like that. Then go cut the other one the opposite way so that the colours sort of line up, like in long and shorts, line up. Tin all your wires, let that cool down a little bit. Don't forget to put your heat shrink over. Then go and do that joining like I did for those 2, but you do it for however many there are. Slide it over after you put your bit of silicone in there to seal it all, and that's it. So it's a pretty simple method, and just might save you a bit of time and make the connections a little neater, and save you from struggling trying to get little bits of heat shrink along there first, and then trying to slide it along enough and have enough room to do all that without making the wires super long between the insulation there. So just a bit of an easier method I thought you might find interesting. Thank you.